Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Boom Bar. My name is Shola.
What happened today?
To what? What happened to what again?
Nothing.
Exactly. Is it your name?
I was just wondering.
Wondering what?
Nothing.
That my name is
I
Shola?
don't have energy. I don't. Please, I don't have the energy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. We bid you a warm welcome to the bar today. It is the Boom Bar right here on your BoomradioNG.
Mm-hmm.
And my name is Oladelupo. You know, the one,
The one
and
and
only.
only. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
but it's true. How many Delupos do you know?
I mean Dolupos I know. There are 3 other Dolupos on Facebook.
But you don't even know them.
I will
And I
send
can
them- I
tell
will
you
send them
that
friend
at least
requests.
2 of those are actually mine. But
Oh, you have fake account. You are not one of those people that have fake account, have you? You have burner accounts.
if it's
Or you lost your
fake,
password.
it won't, I think so.
Shame on you, though.
But anyway,
even my mom that is kind of young, she knows her password,
that's your business.
and she has only one Facebook.
I'm just pointing it out to you.
I shall know that.
That is only one Dolupo you know.
If you are the
But
other
it shall
2
educate
Dolupos,
you.
that means I know all the Dolupos. So,
That's
and
the
you're
point.
Not, and you're not
That's
the
the
only
point.
one. Go. You're not the
That's
only
the
Dolupo
point.
in the
I'm
world.
the only Dolupo
You're not the
you
only
know.
Dolupo.
I'm the only one you know.
My friend, we're not alone.
I'm just saying.
I'm just telling you, because this bar that you won't give us chicken or chips or.
But why?
That what?
Ah,
What is it? It's too cold.
nothing. Oh God. Anyway.
Welcome to the bar, but we're not alone.
Oh yeah, now.
Shebi, you are the one that knows everybody's name. Oh yeah.
No, it's my name that I know.
Okay. His name is Dayo, aka. Can I mention his company name?
No need.
It's free now. He's our man. He will pay us later. You know. But
You're welcome to the bar, sir. Don't mind our. It's a way to. It's just our.
it's
way
the
of,
ice-breaking system that we have.
do you understand?
You know,
Just-
but this one is always loading a name over everybody, thinking that a name is special. It's
but
just
it is actually.
Dolupo.
It is.
Okay,
It
what
is
it?
Ola
It's
Dolupo.
even that your mom was trying to write
It's
Dolapo that day.
Oladipo. Nope.
Then I Byron now changed.
Nope. There's a full name to it. There's a longer name to it. So,
Wait.
so it's very intentional. It's a very intentional name.
But today, at the bar, for the first time,
yeah.
which means it's being called to the bar
It's
for
being
the
called
first
to the
time.
bar today.
He has his cup. We'll show them cup, because if you don't show them cup, they'll think that your induction is fake.
Yeah.
He has his
It's being
cup.
called to the bar today.
But I hope there's nothing that will implicate your cup. This man is showing that he's drinking water. Shut up.
Anyway,
Hide it.
you actually have
No
water
need-
at the
no-
bar
no
as
need,
well.
brother.
No need. You actually.
People drink water at the bar,
Bar.
so it's allowed.
So
You
it's
know,
very,
but-
very allowed. You're welcome. You're very, very welcome to the bar today. So
Okay. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening.
Exactly.
Anywhere, we might be-
anywhere you
might
listen
be
to it.
Nigeria.
Yep.
Let me start by saying that there are 2 people you should not argue with.
Yeah.
One is a lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
then 2 a woman. So
I
I'm
get
not
it.
sure where this your argument
It's not cuckoo.
I take exception to that.
Okay. You see what you cost for yourself.
I take exception to that.
You thought you were defending her. You see? Now you see. That's what I go through every
that's
day.
not that. I'm just saying.
It's supposed to be a compliment, though.
No,
That makes you respect women.
No, we both know that's not a compliment.
It was-
We all know that's not a
I
compliment.
want to take it as one.
It was complimentary.
Yes.
It was a positive statement
We all know it's not a positive statement.
that women are even stronger than lawyers. That's
Yeah,
what it
right.
means.
Yeah, right. I get it.
Abi,
But
Abi.
we're going to move off from it. But I know. But
Okay,
we'll take it like that. I'll
okay.
take it in my
Okay,
stride.
my name is Engineer Dayo Ayodo, and I'm happy to be here to, what's the word now, to enjoy the moment with Boom Radio
Yes, sir.
guys. They are fantastic guys, and I think I want to share this moment with them, to rub minds on
A number of issues, yes. So he's here to explain a lot of particular thing to us, but of course, in the bar, we're going to.
We know they stop for one place.
We're definitely
We
going
dey-
to
we dey
go
move.
through a lot of places. So yeah, if, I think we should just start because
Yeah.
since we have like a bunch of things we need to
So let me just quickly lay again, just like engineer Ayodoku said, what it means basically. I won't call him engineer. It's Dio. His name is Dio.
You're welcome with that.
Yeah. Shebi's name is Dio. PA. Yeah. So what it is that there's been a recent surge in the price of cooking gas.
LPG.
I know there's a name for it. There's LPFO, there's a PMS, there's DPK, there's OPP, there's OPG, there's KPK.
Okay, moving on.
ORT. Sure, you get all those things have code names. So, but there's been a surge in the price, and we have tried to tackle it from our own angle. But we need an expert who understands the entire fabric of Nigeria's oil and gas industry, and who is also vast in the area of retail, upstream, downstream sector, and all of those things, and then some. Someone who has transversed the entire Western African coast and even beyond Africa to work and also research and do all these things when it comes to oil and gas. So what we're doing is bringing in an expert who would really put it to bed. And of course, you know how we do here. We also prefer solutions. It's not only about criticism, because to be a critic is the easiest thing, but to prefer solutions, that's where the job lies. As Wari Pikin go talk, Nadia work day.
All right. So before we definitely get to that, I think we should just begin. I think we should just start with.
Let's dive right into it.
Let's just dive right into it. So there are going to be a number of issues. First thing, please. You were the one that was telling me a few weeks ago that Uncle Arteta is going to step up. Has he stepped up again now? Everton. Everybody knows Everton is.
We're starting with football.
Everybody knows Everton is not good.
We're starting with football, and I'd like to apologize to all the people who might have listened to me yesterday and put money on Arsenal. Sorry.
I told you Uncle Arteta needs to go. The way his uncle has his brother has gone, he needs to pack his load and go. Two people in Arsenal, I think, that need to go at the moment. Aubameyang and Arteta. I think they need to go.
Do you like football, Dio?
Yes, I do.
But you're not an Arsenal fan.
I'm actually
a Chelsea fan.
I play football.
Oh wow!
Yes, I play football. And I also support a couple of teams.
What are their names?
One of those teams is Shooting Stars of Ibadan.
Hey, we are enemies, so me and you. I'll tell you why.
And I would like to say congratulations to Shooting Stars fans, because they just gained good promotion to the elite league.
Yeah, and then they will play one season and then they will go back again. We know their way.
Then I also support Manchester United.
Okay.
Well, I don't.
Ole out. Ole out.
No, I'm really happy for them though. Ole is finally out. Please, can you help us?
Arteta out.
Arteta out.
It doesn't sound nice.
Oh no.
It doesn't sound nice.
It sounds very good.
There's a general saying in the Premiership league. Everybody will do their promo.
Yeah.
So if somebody is doing his promo now,
enjoy it.
Just don't enjoy it, and your turn will come.
Turn will come.
So don't let us just sit back, enjoy
the current promo
as the situation unfolds. Unfortunately for a lot of fans were disappointed with yesterday's game. And just take it and wait for the next game, and I'm sure they will negotiate the bench.
They will not negotiate any bench.
The shocking part for me was that I felt that it was a game that Arsenal could win. And come to think of it, I know that Everton got away with blue murder yesterday. The first tackle on Saka, that guy deserved the red card straight up in my own books, but I'm not a referee. Then again, another time, it happened the second time again, and the referee still didn't do it, even with the VAR review. Then VAR started chalking up Everton goals. Then I'm like, okay, this is not Arsenal's day. And I thought it was going to end 1-1.
Yeah, and then it is what it is.
But just like he said that we should just take it and move.
I'm not taking anything. Arteta needs to go, and Aubameyang needs to go.
Thank God Arsenal are not playing Champions League today, tomorrow, or Europa, because That
would have been disaster, yeah. So, talking about that, and still talking a little bit of sports now, it is now official that United States has said that they will not send a delegation to the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing. Looks like normally they always send, They always send delegations. The last one that was the last Paralympics, it was the second gentleman, the vice president's husband, that went with them. The one before that, it was the first lady of the United States, and on. There's always somebody that always goes with the delegation.
Not even going at all.
No, the athletes are going, but there's always normally like a diplomatic.
If that's what the news
which
is about.
Is a big deal to Olympics actually, because there's always like a major diplomatic delegation that goes.
To be honest,
unfortunately,
to be honest with you, we need to go back to 1980 and look at what happened when the US pulled out of the Olympics that was supposed to be held. I think it was supposed to be Russia or something, and Russia also paid them back in the same coin in '84 when Los Angeles hosted. I think it was Moscow 80. Los Angeles 84, I think so. You can help me confirm online, but yes, I think I remember very well then that it was not good because you pulling out the entire US team was not a good look on the whole competition. And I've always prayed for a situation where we separate politics from sports. Exactly. I don't like it. They don't mix well. It's like oil and water. It never mixes well. Abi? Oil and
it's oil and water. It's oil and water. So looks like and China too is going up that they're going to be countermeasures. So everybody's at each other's throat now. And then before we leave sports, it looks like it's not going to be a very wonderful week or next week or 2 weeks for Tottenham, as 6 of their first team players and 2 members of their backroom staff have tested positive to COVID-19.
That's huge. That's not good news for Tottenham.
6 players out is not a very good thing.
This is it. That's the beauty of having a squad. They now have to look inwards, and if they don't have match day players, they have to promote from the academy and from the under 21 and under 19 and all of that, which might be a good thing for those young lads. They'll get a look in. You get COVID-19 is still with us. We still need to realize that we must respect all the protocols. Talking about social distancing, wearing a mask in public places, sanitizing your hands on a regular, washing your hands on a regular. Because I look at football players and they act like there's no more COVID. No, they started mingling after matches again and all of that.
And doing all that. It's very... And still talking about COVID, coming all the way back to Nigeria. It has now been confirmed that Nigeria has also now found another set of Omicron variant. There's another 3 extra that have been confirmed today now. And in all, in the past 24 hours, the NCDC, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, have recorded 167 new cases, which is a major spike from the numbers we've been having in the past few days. It's literally as more than doubled from what we had.
I don't know if Dayo wants to say something about this.
I think it's just a call for cautions. It's not over until it is over.
Is it really ever going to be over?
I know people are having fatigue, having to adapt to the new lifestyle we have. But I'll just encourage people just to conform to those protocols. We'll get over it. I know it's tiring, but trust me, we'll get over it.
We're getting somewhere.
Talking about it being tiring, one of my friends tweeted something this morning. He said, wear a face mask, observe social distancing, wash your hands, sanitize, get vaccinated, first shot, second shot, booster shot. The guy listed the company, say, all of this one virus.
At this point,
I saw the comical aspect of it, but I'm like, yes, we need to know that this is not new. Even if the coronavirus and its entire family is known to mankind, the mutations are new to us. But the aspect of having a pandemic is not new. If you go, we were not around then, but the Spanish
Spanish flu
happened about 100 years ago, around this time, and we actually lost more people. Again, remember that then people could not travel this much. It was solely by sea, but this thing still got found its way around the world. Imagine now something of that magnitude now happening in a time where people can fly in 6 hours from Lagos to London.
Yeah.
As against traveling by sea for weeks, in some cases months, to get to Liverpool or to get to London. You understand? And how the flu was still able to make its way to Africa and other parts of the world. So we must be thankful for what technology has brought us. But at the same time, the only way this thing will go is if we all agree, to get vaccinated on time and to observe the protocols. So I get when people are, like you said, I like the word you use, fatigued.
Yeah,
but
it's very.
But we can't give up.
If I'm to add maybe one or two thoughts to that, the world has become a global village.
Yeah.
And what that means is that things travel faster than we can ever imagine. So in the fight against this current pandemic, I think everybody should see the world as a global village in the real sense of it. So if everybody, I've heard a conversation around, I don't want to use the word discrimination in the distribution of vaccine.
Yes.
So if somebody feel I'm safe in my enclave, I'm okay, I'm clean. You can never know. Don't forget the world is a global village.
Yes, it is.
So we should distribute whatever antidotes to this problem equitably. We should let people have access to it without considering the race or any other consideration
or creed,
whatever we have. So with that, we know it is a common war that we are fighting, not a segregated one.
And it is looking like a segregated war.
Yeah, it's beginning to look at it
especially with the recent pronouncements,
the Omicron,
the travel bans.
Bans. Yeah. I'm talking about the travel bans. Yeah. Before we get to that, the Greek, or what, I don't know how that is spelled. They've then, in conjunction with the NPHCDA, that's the National Primary Health Care Development Agency, they're to deliver another 4.2 million doses of the Moderna COVID-19.
To Nigeria.
Yes, to Nigeria, as donated by the USAID. My own issue now is that, can people please go and get the vaccines? There's at least, last we checked, they said that there is vaccine for at least a quarter of the population. Now, they're literally begging people to go and get vaccinated.
Okay, if I'm correct, I think it's barely 70% of the population, of Nigerian population, that have gotten maybe full or partial.
I don't even think it's up to, because last we checked, they said there were about 3.something million that are fully vaccinated and just about 6 million people that are partially vaccinated.
So
yes.
I think it might be. I said that's why I say
the number
it's not even up to
increased.
10%.
So it's quite low. If you
very low.
Sense of it, and it also encourage people to take this thing seriously, and go out there and get vaccinated. At least it doesn't hurt. If you get vaccinated, you have made your own contribution towards stemming the tide of the pandemic.
And that's it. And then before we move off the pandemic, there's a very interesting story where the Nigerian Association of Nigerian Students, the National Association of Nigerian Students, have given the British and the Canadian Commissions 72 hours ultimatum to lift the red list addition of Nigeria, or that they are going to close down their embassies in Nigeria.
Do you want my reaction to that?
Yes, please.
I'll simply put it this way. Let government do their job.
I think we should be staying in our lane.
Yeah, so we need to go back to the whole essence of setting up NANS. If I look at it very well, I don't think this should be one of them. But on the contrary, it also shows that there's no vacuum in nature. So if a certain organ of government did not do, or they are giving unsatisfactory response to a situation,
somebody else will step up.
Okay. I think that's what I'm seeing here.
Let me weigh in and do something contrary to what he has said. It's called the National Association of Nigerian Students. A Nigerian student is someone of Nigerian
origin,
parentage, or origin. So this travel ban is affecting Nigerian students who are going abroad to school too. So if NANS is speaking up, they're not only speaking up for Nigerian students in Nigerian schools, but they're speaking up for students who want to study abroad. They're Nigerian students too, and it's affecting them because, for instance, now if you're going to the UK, compulsorily you have to pay an additional 2,000 or 3,000 pounds or something. Convert that to naira. That's like almost 3 million naira. And then you have to compulsorily stay in one hotel for 10 days and all of that. We get all of those quarantine measures, yeah? But the reason why we are fighting it and why I support NANS fighting it is that there are countries in Europe that have more confirmed cases of Omicron that have not been banned from entering the UK than they have banned Nigeria, South Africa, and all the other southern African countries who do not have as many cases as some of those countries. You know, there's Omicron in Scotland, and the funny thing about the first set of people that they discovered to have had it in Scotland is that there was no history of travel to Nigeria or Africa. So if you're not politicizing it, put a travel ban on the Scottish from entering England.
I do not disagree with you. But what we are saying here is
that students should mind their business. This is
well,
part of their business.
That's it. I think that there is
not really.
Great Nigerian students. I'm with you.
We are also with you. But what we're
saying,
is
with you too.
But what we're saying is what we're saying in essence.
I am more with you.
I can't read that again. What you're saying in essence, is that yes, NANS is more or less a pressure group.
Yeah.
But things should be done in a proper way.
And
what am I proposing to them is take your complaint to federal government, put pressure on federal government to do the
and not want threatening
and
to
let this
shut down.
conversation be at diplomatic level, you know, and that's the way to go. If you say you're going to shut down embassy of other country, I'm not too sure how that can pan out.
I don't even think the Nigerian government would allow you to do such a thing.
Okay, but you do know that even in those countries, protests are led to other embassies.
You can lead protests there,
that's
but
what they're going to do. They're not going to shut it down. They know that it's sovereign land. Everybody knows that the embassy of a country is that country. So they're not going to breach their perimeter. They're not going to step on sovereign land that they're not invited into. But they should be allowed to picket or protest. Because we've seen them protest in front of the Nigerian House in the UK. We've seen people protest in the US against Nigeria and other countries. So I don't think this should be an exception. So NANS probably need to choose their words differently and say, okay, this is what we're going to do.
Okay, moving on from that. Wow, our time is just flying. Before we get to the issue of the
gas, cooking gas.
Finally, because I would like us to have like
quite
quite some time to talk about it.
Gas
Can we move before we're taking out of the time? Thank you very much. I don't know what it's called.
Abi?
I don't. What? Oh my God! Moving on. Please, we're talking. Okay, I've never heard that before.
We are in the right place.
I've never heard that before.
In my entire 21 years of being in this world, for 21 years that
I will say 21 years.
Let me tell you, it's 22.
Anyway.
I just cut it small.
Anyway, before we get to that...
I have never heard Afefe Idano before. I love that.
The ish of Afefe Idano, as he said. There is a brewing story, there's a developing story about the boy that died in Bowen. Before we get to that, I don't know if anybody saw the story of a child.
Dowen.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody saw the story of a child that they've been looking for like a day or two in Ekiti State.
No.
And then they found her remains in a cooler in the house of a pastor. I don't know if you saw that. Sorry. It's all over the news. They found her this morning. I don't know if anybody saw it.
No. I'm just saying it for the first time.
Oh, wow. It's
I don't know if Dio's heard about it.
No, I'm not. But, listen to this now.
They literally found her like in pieces.
It shows how our society has degraded.
Yeah, it's really horrible.
And,
sad.
What kind of value we place on human life. I think we need to take a step back as a society and be human again. Because with this current trend, is leading us to nowhere.
It's definitely leading us to nowhere. Yeah. I'm sure it's a developing story. We'll probably come back tomorrow to give you like full talks about what has happened and what is still happening
and may God rest that boy.
The girl. So now, before we still talking about children and deaths, I know everybody had heard about the Sylvester Oromoni case. And as of today now, it's really big because as of now, it was actually spoken about in the House of Representatives. And now they've ordered that the Inspector General of Police should take up the case. Adding to the fact that as of today, the Lagos Commissioner of Police had come up, Hakim Odumosu, had come up to say that 3 of the 5 children that the boy had allegedly.
I have a question.
Called.
Why 3 of 5?
That's what I'm saying. 3 of the 5.
Why not 5 of 5?
I'm getting there.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking the question.
That 3 of them are being. I don't want to say they're arrested, because they're minors. So they're there with this. It said that they're there with their lawyers and their parents, but that they're questioning them, and that 2 of the 5 are large at the moment.
Mm-hmm. So the rumors about them.
So it looks like the rumors about them
on the run is true.
Yes, is actually true, and which begs for the question. We saw the statement. We talked about the statement of the Buruji Kashamu family that had come out to say that their son was not involved in this, but their son was one of the people that was
listed as a perpetrator.
So if your son is not involved in this, why suddenly
has he disappeared?
Why has your children?
Is he one of the 3? He's not.
No, I don't. Now nobody knows. Nobody knows. Right. Why is it that 2 of them, if is that you have a child, why is it that, and you're sure that your child is not part of them, why is the child suddenly missing?
Okay. You want a reaction?
Yes, actually.
I think I want to expand it a bit.
Oh, please do so.
To look at our education system and how we train and bring up a child. It also put a lot of question mark on the boarding system that we operate in this part of the world.
I agree.
From my own personal experience, I went to a secondary school. I attended to a secondary school that operate both boarding and day system, and I was a day student. So that gave me an insight or an idea of what these
happens,
pupils.
yeah.
Yes. So I think it calls for a total review of what goes on in those boarding schools. Both the parent and the
school,
the management of those schools need to sit down and maybe with the state authority and need to redesign what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. Because I know there have been a lot of documentary movie that speaks to all those ills
and the atrocities that
happens
in boarding school. For me, it's an unfortunate incident that happened that parents have to lose a child. But my prayer is goes to those parents. I mean, may God give them the grace to put through this trying period. May God rest the boys' soul as well. But beyond that, the authority need to take this seriously, and we should not leave whatever happened in those schools to the school management alone. Parent has a role. Parent have role to play in this. The school management have role to play. The state itself has a very, very big role to play. It should be regulated.
Yeah, I know. You know, we talked about it yesterday, and I was like that. A lot of those, you see, all these monitoring things, as much as it's not as much as you would expect. There is a little bit of monitoring that comes from maybe states and federal to public schools, but I don't think there's any form of checking up or whatever it is when it comes to private schools. I don't think they do any of those things at all.
So to weigh in again on that, I think the state, the education authority,
the Ministry of Education
need to create a feedback system from the boarding schools. Need to have an open communication. Let people speak up. Speaking up is not to. We need to look at this from apart from a business venture. I mean those schools.
Yeah.
There are institutions that produce characters that can take this country either backward or forward. So we need to look at it from that perspective, and it should be devoid of looking at schools from a business venture. So having said that, they should be deeply involved. If state need to we are all complaining now that the country is going in a direction that we don't like. And who are the people, referring to? They are the young people coming up. And we have responsibility in their failure if they don't turn out as expected, because what they see us do, they do in their formative years. The society generally produce those characters.
Everybody, yeah.
So the more reason I personally think the state authority that are in charge of education should, weigh in heavily and provide a platform where they can get feedback, authentic feedback that they can act on. I think that I'll drop it at that.
I just want to quickly say that I'm hoping that we would use this sad situation to arrive at a good situation. What do I mean? Can this spark the reform that we require in Nigeria's secondary education sector and trickle down to the primary subsector of education? In the sense that things need to change from the curriculum to the modus that is being deployed at the moment. We need to change a lot of things. A lot of things needs to change. Now, the boarding school system is meant to be a system that relieves parents of the burden of taking care of their children on a regular and afford the children some form of discipline that is regimented, but which also leaves them better off. But we know that a lot of terrible things have cropped into our system. We're talking off here and we're talking about how some of the things that we acquired from our colonial masters have been distorted or turned into God knows what. But I'm hoping that this situation would lead us to a situation where the governors that are involved, because secondary education is actually at the state level, not federal. That the governors involved will speak to other governors and they are able to come up with reforms. They're able to build a system that will not fail another Sylvester. Sylvester Oromoni is a hero.
It's a very sad. It's a very, very sad.
A 12-year-old young man who everybody has said, shouldn't have died. He shouldn't have died out of this. But sadly, we have lost him. But can we prevent other deaths? Can we create a system that works? I was reading an exclusive report by Sahara reporters. They say it's exclusive. And they spoke to some of the parents from the Dowen College. and the parents are saying that they're not going to withdraw their children. People are asking all of them to withdraw their children and shut down the school. They said they're not going to do that because that's not a solution. They're saying, what do we do to prevent this from happening? Some of the things we talked about always talk about technology.
And as
deploy CCTV cameras.
You want
do
to
a lot
withdraw
of
your
things,
child.
change the
How
school
are you
management
sure that if you move it to another
to the next school that you're going to?
But the another part is that how are you sure it's been sealed by Lagos State government now? You don't know when it's going to get open.
That would be the least of their. The sealing by Lagos State government is more or less like them showing that we're on top of this situation. But I still think that's the least of our problems. The real issue is, how do we prevent this from happening?
I even feel that
again?
before we even
we can't allow this to happen again.
Before we get to the angle of what's it called, government and what's parents, as much as yes, everybody's talking about how you should be close to your child. You know when the child is getting bullied, the child is getting bullied by another child too. How are we rearing bullies?
Okay, so
that's another point.
You're quite on point on that, and you cannot give what you don't have. And I've looked around. What I see sometimes are dysfunctional parents themselves. A dysfunctional parent cannot bring up a functional child.
No, you can't.
So
it's not possible.
We as a people, this just pop up something that is very, very significant in our society. Generally, the moral decadence in this society is
mind blowing.
It's mind blowing.
I get it.
So who are the main actor here? Are the parents.
It's the parents. It's the parents.
Okay, imagine. Okay, I just give you a typical example. It's not only about the boarding school. For record, there are thousands and thousands of good boarding schools in this country.
So many of them,
and they are doing very well.
Yeah.
But what we are saying, this is society-wide problem for us. Okay, imagine a parent taking a child to school, and you are by pedestrian bridge, and the same parent decide not to use the pedestrian bridge, and you cross the express.
What are you teaching the child?
So when that child grows up, he doesn't see any need for that. So that's just a typical example. So you can't teach a child, do as I say, don't do as I do.
A quick story. One of my friends took his child to a private school, and apparently they have been teaching them about traffic lights. And his child is just 6 years. She was 6 years old then. This was a couple of years ago.
Oh, and then he ran.
So they got to a traffic light, and he didn't stop.
Turned to red.
It turned red, but he didn't stop.
Ah, okay.
He ran the traffic light.
We will not hear the end of
and
it.
The girl went off on him. Daddy, that's wrong. Red means stop. Amber means get ready to stop. Green means go. Daddy, he said to himself, he was looking at the back seat and was wondering like, I'm your daddy now. He said, no, Daddy, it's bad. My teacher said this, that. Because of that experience that he had with his daughter, he stopped running red lights. Because of the experience he had with a 6-7-year-old, he stopped running red lights. Where did she pick it up from? School. That's why everybody has a role to play. The parents have a major role to play. Stop dumping your kids on other people, expecting them to help you train your child. You have to train your child the proper way. But you said something profound. If you're dysfunctional, if you're scattered, you cannot raise a child that is going to be straight. It's difficult. But again, in picking the right kind of school and getting the right kind of support, your children will also learn some major things and that will make the world a better place. But we cannot pass the buck. We should stop passing the buck to people. Oh, it's the government. Oh, it's the teachers. Oh, it's the management.
It starts from the home.
We situation. We are all involved.
Everybody is all culpable.
In the olden days, they said it takes a village to raise a child. Today,
if you try it with someone's child, you're old.
Today, I would say you buy me no mommy.
It's
and in English, it basically direct translation means help me beat my child. Trust me, it's not from the bottom of the heart of the mother or father. They're just saying it because if you beat that child,
yeah, you all know.
They will beat you.
I think that it's time to move to
the main matter.
The main matter. But before we go, we have some comments. Uzoania Kenneth says that just refilled in my area less than an hour at about 750 naira per kg. This is killing, I must say.
So 750 per kg. If he has a 12 kg, it's 12.5. That's that standard one, Abi.
Yeah.
How much would that be? That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
That's over 9,000.
Yes, that's about 9,000.
And I know that Kenneth is my friend. He lives in Surulere.
Yeah. So Kule Faji Bitaya says, "Howdy, lady and gentlemen. Hello."
Hello, sir.
So so the topic of the day, gas, as
gas.
Kenneth had
Thank you.
already.
Thank you, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Kenneth. How is gas 750 per kg? This time last year, we know how much we were buying gas. And we know that gas is so seasonal.
Yeah, it's very... And we know that the end of the year is always...
when it goes up. Then, shockingly, the only item in Nigeria that I know that always comes down is gas.
It actually does. It actually
it's
does.
It's shocking, right?
Like, but you buy for 6,000 and then in a month or two, they say it's now 2,500. Like, okay.
Wait.
It actually does come down. It actually does come down.
So, what exactly
How are
is
we?
going on?
But I'm not sure if
We've
there's
never
ever
had
really
it
been
this bad.
This bad.
Okay.
When it comes to cooking gas.
Okay, you're very correct, and it's an unusual situation we find ourselves, especially this year, when it comes to cooking gas, LPG, we call it. Let me just put some.
What is LPG?
Liquefied petroleum gas.
Thank you.
Okay. I know that.
You think I didn't know? You think I didn't know?
Hey, but me, I know what.
I'm asking for my people, so let's go on, sir.
Okay.
They both know. Me, I didn't know. Now I've been schooled. So LPG, let's go.
Okay, so let me put it in a context.
Thank you.
What causes a price increase is the balance of demand and supply. There are other modulating factors that can influence it one way or the other.
Okay.
So let me break it down. I want us to look at demand end, what has happened over the year, and the supply end, what has happened over the year. I think that will help us put it in perspective. Then if you look at those two factors, then we'll now look at some other modulating factors that just happened recently that caused this price increase unabated. So we've never been high consuming nation when it comes to
gas,
LPG.
Okay.
And to put it in perspective, in the last take a step back 7 years. Our national consumption was barely 250,000 metric tons.
Over what period? A year?
Per annum.
Okay. 250,000 metric tons.
Yes.
About 7 years ago.
Yes. Now, take a step forward.
To 2021.
Our consumption last year hit 1.1 million.
Wow.
From 256 7 years ago.
Yes.
Wow.
So that should show you that in the last 7 years,
There's
our consumption has increased by over 300%.
In the increase that we have witnessed,
Yes.
has there been a decrease in other items, like for instance, kerosene?
I will.
You will get there.
I will get there.
Okay.
So why do we have this quantum
This surge,
jump in the demand? A lot of factors. When other sources start drying up, they say what you know how to eat is not available. What is available becomes desirable.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. So that is, in a sense, that's what happened there have been a lot of people switching to LPG in the last 7 years.
Okay.
And it is evident in the demand figure that I just put up forward there. So if there's a surge in demand, it is expected that there is a corresponding increase in
the supply.
Unfortunately, that has not happened.
Okay.
So we've just trying to,
I thought
So that means
I thought it said that we have a lot of LPG liquefied gas that we're not using.
Yes.
You know,
I'll go there.
You get there. Okay.
I'm just trying to,
lay
background for us. So if there is that increase, what are we doing on the supply leg? And now, of course, this part of the world figures are very scarce. But I'll put it this way: currently, of the consumption we're having, more than about 70% of that is being imported.
Wow. Why?
Okay, and the local supply only account for just about 30%. So that is another perspective. So
Can you say that again?
Why are we importing? Okay, but say it again, because I'm not.
Please say it for emphasis.
Of our national demand, about 70% is being imported.
So of our 1.1 million consumption as at
metric
tons consumption as at now,
yes,
70% of that is imported.
Yes,
And 30% is supposed to be local.
Is sourced locally.
Sourced locally. Okay.
Now, let me say something, sir. I want to help those of us that don't know. We want to learn. Gas flaring and LPG production. What is the correlation?
Okay. LPG, you can get LPG from maybe about 3 sources.
Okay.
One of them is from the natural gas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because LPG is a combination of propane, butane, for people that are interested in the chemistry.
The science of it.
Natural gas is largely methane. Okay. So, but when you have a reserve or you have gas coming up from the reservoir, you have all sorts of gases that are
different. So you have to purify it.
Correct. So that is one source of getting the LPG.
Okay.
The other source is also from your refining process.
Yeah.
Refining of crude. There are other that you can synthesize.
Okay.
So
3 sources. And more.
Yes, and more. So the major feedstock for the LPG is likely from the natural gas,
which has been harnessed.
Yes, and the refinery, the refinement of the crude.
Crude.
Yes. So
gas is definitely a byproduct of crude.
Correct. Having said that, the question we need to ask ourselves is: of all these sources, how much of gas are we getting from either from our refinement of crude and from
natural sources,
natural gas? To start with, none of our refineries is working at the moment.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, I stand to be corrected.
None. You're correct.
So,
it's just about to come on board now. Yes. So
that's what they say.
Okay, so anything you are expecting from that source is zero.
Okay.
From that source. The other source, which has to do with the natural gas.
Crude, yeah.
No, I'm talking about the crude.
No, even with crude. So what about the modular refineries that have come on stream? Are they just refining PMS and DPK, AGO, no LPG?
Technically, I'm not sure those guys can.
They have the capacity.
The capacity.
10,000, 2,000, 5,000
like
barrels.
Modular.
Yeah.
So we are not getting
nothing
from
locally
from that source. No,
right.
Not locally.
No, we're talking about
from the
crude.
refining from crude.
Yeah.
But I think LLNG as an organization has done a lot to push out some of the LPG they can. LPG is not the major product for LLNG.
Okay.
It's
What is
just
the major product?
It's a natural gas that.
And there's a market for it.
Yeah, there's
outside Nigeria.
Yes, outside Nigeria. But the point is that the LPG, which is a byproduct from operation of LLNG, is being, pushed into the local market largely because of that big shortfall. I want to say this. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, what is government doing? Government is not doing anything." That might not be correct.
Okay.
There have been a lot of effort by the government.
Palliatives?
Not really palliative. For us to increase the local output for LPG, for people to have access to the product.
To LPG.
So what would have made the life easier for us is that if we have a switch, having a 70% locally sourced and probably augmenting with 30 from imports.
Okay.
So that would have been much easier because locally you have control over so many things. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the effort government is trying to deploy.
Okay.
But I'll say,
you know this for a fact.
yes, I know this for a fact, and I'll say maybe it's too little. Maybe there is still more
that
to
they
be
can
done in that area until we get to that level of self-sufficiency in LPG. We'll still be having this kind of situation. Now, I've talked about the demand end.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many issues that are happening on the supply end. One of it is what I've just said. There's also infrastructure development. Not many tank storage facility are available.
Storage and retail.
Storage is
Okay, let me put it
break
this
it down.
way.
Yeah.
So for you to, whether your gas is produced locally or you import it,
Yeah.
you still have to store it.
you bring it in a vessel.
And you store.
You bring in a vessel, then from that vessel you discharge to a storage facilities. And from those storage facilities, people with
You now dispense
you now load out with truck
gas.
who now take it to filling plant that you see around.
All around you.
So
Yeah.
from the filling plant, you go and take your gas. Now, there's still a gap in the capacity of the storage facility we have around.
So capacity to store imported or locally sourced gas is a big problem.
It's still a problem.
Like the tank farms that we have for DPK and AGO
Yes.
and PMS, we have to have those kind of farms for gas too.
We do, but they are not sufficient.
But how is the ones that are imported? How are they then
Stored.
Okay, so it has another logistic issue that can even push the price up further. I'll give you an example. If I bring in a vessel, let's say from Algeria, Cote d'Ivoire, or from Europe, the vessel turnaround is attached. It has a cost implication. If you turn it around quickly, when I bring product to you, there's what they call demurrage.
Yes.
Okay.
We know about demurrage. So it also applies.
Yeah. So if I bring, say, maybe a 80 metric ton, I'm just saying for hypothetical sake.
Yeah.
And where I'm discharging, they can only take maybe 30. So what it means is that
50 will stay on the vessel.
will stay.
And then means you have to pay demurrage.
Correct.
Wow.
I draw down. So those are some of the logistic issues that can also push up the cost.
Okay, because there isn't enough storage system.
Yes. So that is also being addressed. A number of companies.
What are we doing about our storage capacity?
That has to be individual anyway. And
it's not a government-based thing because it's a private-driven business.
Correct. So, and a number of private organizations are already building up storage.
Is it lucrative for them?
It will be. It will be, because in the value chain of gas distribution, there's a template for each of those
from
players.
The importers to the storage providers to the transporters to the retailers.
Filling plant, then to the retailers.
The retailers.
So, there have been a form of ramp up for the storage capacity to go up as well.
While not trying to break your chain of thought,
okay,
you're saying that some of the gas in my house is imported. the one in my cylinder,
Definitely.
it's from outside Nigeria.
Yes.
That gas that I'm using to boil water in my house and cook noodles and everything, some of it is imported.
Yeah, big man now. Yes, it's important. I'm just trying to.
I'm a big man.
to
Gas.
Yes,
Hey. Hey. And when did this start? How long have we been importing gas?
Okay, let me put it in context. We've been importing gas for a long time.
Since thy kingdom come?
Yes, but let me put it in context. You see, the way a country looks at a product determines how that product
Is handled.
It's handled.
We, like I said, the way I started, I said we are never LPG country.
No.
Because it is until recently that people start,
moving towards it,
and give that what's it called? Thank the government for that, because they are making a lot of effort for people to switch. It's good for us in two ways.
It's safer.
It's cleaner in terms of health of people compared to using firewood,
or
compared to using kerosene. On one hand, then two.
Please hold that thought for a second. Don't mind me. So someone very close to me, a blood relative, is having, she's old now, she's older now, is having some respiratory issues, and they're saying that it was due to years of being exposed to cooking with firewood when she was younger.
Wow.
Someone extremely close to me, my blood. So if she had gas earlier, and I know she's had gas all my life, which means that whatever happened and the exposures to firewood cooking was way before when I started knowing her well. And it's actually a painful thing for me as a human being.
So sorry about that. Sorry to hear that.
So you can imagine the number of Nigerians who have been exposed to firewood smoke and they don't know how dangerous it is. It's actually dangerous. It's killing people.
It's very inimical to people's health, and we also need to thank Nigerian government, for making those deliberate efforts
to move towards
for people
gas.
to switch from firewood, because firewood, it's also a big issue of deforestation.
Yeah, we already have that, the climate issue and all that.
So,
yeah.
So I would say we have a good problem at hand, but how do we treat it going forward is a challenge. Is what we need to look at. So I've talked about the demand, and I've tried to throw some light on the supply hand. Having said that, like you say, am I sure if government is really making some efforts
towards this?
And I say yes. Like LLNG, I think last year they moved their local supply from 350,000 ton to about 450,000 ton, just to increase their local supply. NNPC to their NPDC, which is a subsidiary of NNPC. Then also, I think commissioned one plant at Oredo. I think that should be in Edo State.
Edo State, yeah.
Yes, for the production. I think that will add another maybe 100,000
metric tons
to the
of
system.
LPG into the system.
Yeah, there are also other local producer, people like Greenville. There have been a lot of effort in the recent time, both at the production end and the storage end. A lot of investment to increase the capacity and to increase the local production. So if we continue on this trend, I think we can be having some
get better
by day. But my challenge is the rate of switching is faster than the rate of supply.
And that is what is causing this.
Yes, that is a major issue. Now, let me I mentioned supply, and the demand. And I also mentioned that there are
other factors.
Moderating factor that push the price upward this time. One of them is FX. Recently the value of naira,
it's crashed a lot,
depreciated, and because you have to import likely what you consume.
So the market forces with the
market forces.
You are exposed to that FX challenge. So that is very, very that's a major factor that also motivated it. And I think one other factor, I'm not sure if government has reversed it now, but I learned they have. One of the factor that started pushing the price forward was government was planning a 7.5% VAT on gas.
On gas?
Yeah, so that's...
But has it been enforced?
It was applied, but I think due to public
pressure,
outcry, I think they are reversed. I need to check.
So the VAT is going to be charged on every cylinder of gas?
Every
kg. Every kg. Now, I know that
7.5, Dolubo, 7.5.
I know that generally all over the world, that the price of petroleum products.
Yes.
We know that if not for subsidy, when it comes
PMS,
to PMS,
should be higher.
will be almost double.
Yes.
Right now. Is it also part of what is affecting the price?
Okay. So if something will go wrong, it will go wrong
all the way.
I think that's the situation we find ourselves in the country. So you're right. There was a general increase in the price of commodity globally. Since there was a what do you call it, a taper effect on the COVID. Business started picking up, and the demand surged, and that pushed the price. You see that effect of that on the price of crude recently.
Yeah.
So, well, having said that, so because we import largely what we consume in this country, so we're exposed to the international market price, and we're also exposed to FX rate. So I think those are the
major things. Wow.
So yes, that is a problem, and those are some of the efforts that government.
So what's the solution for you and I now, the regular person? What do we do?
God bless you, because we have highlighted a lot of issues with the value chain,
what happens
the
going
supply
forward,
and all of that. But before you answer that question about solutions, there is a recent move by government to take pressure off the consumption of petrol, PMS. They're asking cars to get converted.
Yeah.
And next year, I know that they're going to ramp up the consumption of gas in cars. They said it's cheaper and it's safer. And they want to take the pressure off the consumption of petrol. They're already looking at outlets that will do the conversions, and government is going to incentivize it and all of that, right? Am I right?
You're correct.
How does this
Won't
have
this
a bearing
increase the demand as well?
Thank you.
Okay, so let me put it this way.
Is it LPG too that's going to drive the cars?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay, so I think first thing first, you survive before you want to live. Okay, people are talking about one of the most basic things that cut across age, race, strata, whosoever you are in society. This is a common denominator for all of us. It's a product everybody. There are some product you call it adult product, you call it baby product.
Yeah,
this cut across
everybody.
Yes, your baby, you need to eat the water for your baby to bathe in the morning, to eat. So now, my advice to government, in addition to all this effort being made both by the government and the private sectors, is to change the status of LPG as a product. Now, how do I mean? We all know that the status given to PMS today is not the same given to other petroleum products.
Yeah.
Every other petroleum product has been deregulated. to my knowledge, but PMS.
PMS is it's still being subsidized.
Yes, but the government doesn't want to use the word subsidy. They say recovery. Okay, so I would have advised in the interim, because there's a very big gap between local supply on our road to sufficiency in the LPG in this country. Government need to change the status of that product.
Okay.
Government tag PMS as a security product.
Yes.
So if it is not available, government knows
there is a problem.
that there is going to be a problem. I think we're getting to that point
where LPG
as well.
So are we saying that because there's already a conversation that the subsidy on PMS is going to be removed? The World Bank is talking about it, IMF is talking about it, the federal government has said, I think by June next year. They're removing the subsidy finally. Are you saying that we should remove the subsidy from one product and put it on another product?
There's a short-term
Is that the
plan.
solution? That's a palliative. That's a short-term.
Yeah, there's a short-term plan.
Okay.
There's a medium-term and a
long-term.
Long-term.
For me, I would advise if this stem, because once you switch, a lot of people want to switch back to other source of energy.
Yeah.
But they are not available any longer.
Yeah.
You cannot get Kero DPK anywhere because it's not available.
They're not even selling it anymore.
Refinery is not working. If the
Yeah.
refinery is
kerosene,
working,
really?
yeah.
They're not selling it anymore.
So
wow.
if the refinery
I
is
had no
working,
idea.
you could have had a churn out of
Because those they are all byproducts anyway.
Then the
If
firewood,
you're listening to us and you're watching us, of course you are. When was the last time you bought kerosene, or who do you know that is buying kerosene? All right, carry on.
Okay, so firewood we talk about, or charcoal, they are not that readily available as well. And where they are available, they are expensive. So this is like we're one-way traffic when it comes to LPG in this country at this point in time. So I would advise that government should look at how
to make it available at a subsidized rate.
At a rate that is affordable for a lot of people. Now, while we are wrapping up both the production end locally and increasing the storage facility so that the value chain cannot be seamless. By NNPC projection, I don't know how, well, I read it somewhere that they're projecting about 5 million metric ton by 2022. That is like
5 million metric tons
that's
local production.
No,
Demand.
Projection,
Wow,
yes.
that's about times 4 of what is happening right now.
Wait, this is scary. 6-7 years ago, we were on 250,000 metric tons per annum.
7 years after,
we are on 1.1
and by
million
next
metric
year,
tons, right?
yes.
And by next year, we're projecting 5 times what we have now.
Wow.
As per demand.
Yes.
But can supply meet it? No.
Even
Based on what we have on ground, no.
Yes. I'm not even sure.
So
about
does that mean that gas is still going to go higher?
Before you panic, I'm not even sure this projection it conforms to the trend we have seen.
We've seen.
Because we've seen
So it cannot be from 1.1 million to 5 million.
Well, it might not be, but
it might be, but not that short of a period of time.
Yes, or by the time they are talking about, maybe we're talking about maybe 2 point something million metric ton.
Yeah, maybe double of it, not double, times 4, times 5.
Because the trend has been about 60% every year.
Okay.
So
over the previous year.
Previous
year. As a layman that knows nothing about the oil and gas industry, the Dangote facility that's coming up, will it help in the area of LPG?
Yes, every refinery should be able to,
it's a byproduct anyway,
to
so
turn out some LPG. But again,
do you see them? Have you heard? Have you gathered? You're an industry person.
Yeah.
What do you know about LPG and the Dangote refinery?
Of course, like I mentioned, when you are doing a refinement of crude, one of the
the byproducts
derivatives from that
is LPG.
How it also depends on the feedstock you have, the kind of crude you have, that fit you. So that determines a number of things. It will help, but how much it can help is what we don't know.
The quantity.
So
I think
when you talk about feedstock,
yes,
we're talking Bonnie Light, right?
yes.
And it has to be Bonnie Light, or are they going to go look for crude elsewhere?
I don't have the technical detail of what
The
the
feedstock
refinery is
But
predicated on.
shouldn't it be the one that is readily available?
What type of feedstock does Nigeria have apart from Bonnie Light?
I think we have Bonnie Light majorly. We have other stock.
And Lagos also has crude now. But are they going to
Yeah,
be...
but I'm not sure there's...
They've not... I know, but Lagos has crude.
Yes, Lagos does.
But are they going to be pumping crude from the south to the Dangote refinery?
Okay, so definitely yes. Because if you look at the size...
They're pumping, they're not shipping it, they're pumping it.
Yes, if you look at the size of Dangote
The refinery.
The biggest in the world, is it true?
Yes, from fact available, yes. What I'm saying is that there might even be need to get some crude elsewhere. It's one thing for you to have reservoir.
The facility, yeah?
The reservoir for your crude. It's another thing for you to meet up with the demand.
The quantity that the refinery can do. Can we feed that?
Correct.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
But I need to check those details. I've not really paid attention to that on the issue of where is the feedstock to Dangote refinery. But definitely, as a business, you want to run that.
It has to be local.
Yeah, and Nigeria
you have to run that facility profitably.
Yeah.
And you cannot, if you don't get feedstock for whatever reason. I pray there is no restiveness in the creek again where the operation are distorted. So I just pray that things will just go on. But as a business, I'll get my crude from anywhere to make that facility run.
Yeah.
I think that will make sense.
A lot of laymen are holding their breath and saying that this refinery, this Dangote refinery, is going to be the solution to all our power energy issues when it comes to petrol and all the byproducts of crude, AGO, DPK, LPFO, and LPG. As an industry person, can you bust our bubble and say it's not going to happen like that? Or I hope I'm not putting you in the spot. Do you think that this is the solution, or will it get better?
Okay,
I don't know. So your honest and expert opinion.
Okay, so the good news is that Dangote refinery, we pray it comes on board
next year.
Maybe next year or anytime
it comes up. Yeah.
Comes on board. You see, every refinery has their business template.
Okay.
There are tens and tens of products that can come out of your operation.
Yeah.
It's not left for me to look at which one is more profitable for me. There are some products I can crack them further to give me other products.
Yeah.
So I take, for instance, now, bitumen is an offshoot of that.
Yeah.
Some refinery might say, okay, let me crack bitumen further to give me
petrol.
AGO.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Depends on, if I look at the economies of each
There
of those
is
products,
the demand.
Spread. Yes. So I don't know the business case or the templates
that they're
built what they're pushing out.
But what I'm sure of is that it's going to alleviate the problem we have
with importation.
And I'm confident about the AGO. I'm confident
PMS.
about the PMS.
What about DPK?
Well, if they look at the economy.
For people who don't know, what is DPK?
DPK is sorry.
I don't need the definition. Tell them the street name, the market name.
It's kerosene.
Yeah.
It's kerosene.
So, do you think they're going to factor that in?
Let me step back a bit.
And what's the difference between that and aviation?
Exactly. That's where I'm going. aviation fuel, is chemistry-wise is very similar, practically the same thing.
Same thing.
But that requires a further refinement to separate impurity, water, because you can't afford to allow those go
get into the engine.
Into your engine. So answering your question, it would be a good thing we have Dangote Refinery come on board. We're having very high expectation. Whether those expectations will be met at the end of the day,
we don't know yet.
It's led to be seen. Depends on what business model.
So let us wait with bated breath and hope that it's going to be in its entirety.
So it's been a very, very, we
have overrun, right?
We definitely have overrun a lot, but it's very, very enlightening talk.
This conversation.
Very, very enlightening conversation. Before we go, there's news. I know that everybody has heard about the Abuja Electric distribution company that they've all been on strike. They went on strike yesterday. The whole of Abuja, Nasarawa, and I think
all the adjoining
states around, literally in darkness.
Yeah.
And there's an MOU that has been signed with the federal government yesterday. And now it has now been said that President Buhari has sacked the management of the Abuja Electric Distribution Company because a strike happened.
Largely due to the fact that the strike exposed a lot of things that was happening in the AEDC.
Mm-hmm.
And it is assumed that they're supposed to be run as private entities.
That's why I was always wondering why the federal
keep saying
government.
The business model is wrong. A private entity that requires support from the government from time to time. It's not private. It's not a private entity. So if you've really sold licenses to them, they're supposed to operate. And I heard the licenses are up for renewal again. So because if it's like here now,
I know that the federal government owns, I think, 40% of those distribution companies.
As it stands, if it's truly the structures that they told us it was going to be, the president of Nigeria cannot sack the MD of this company. But because you are still in cahoots with government, you're still getting subsidies, getting all sorts of bailouts and all of that. But I know you have an opinion, so.
Not really an opinion. I just want us to put that news headline in the context.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sometimes some headline can be misleading.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we need to check that again. I'm not sure.
And get the details.
Actually, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the sack of the management of the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company over the strike by the Nigerian Union of Electronic Electricity Employees.
What's the reason for
is that does power come? Under whose purview is power? Is it under the purview of the president, or which minister is in charge? I think we need to. My point is that
the gray areas.
Yeah, we need to review that news headline.
Who has signed this document?
Okay, so the statement was actually issued by the media aide of the Minister of State for Power.
That is the Minister of State for Power.
The Minister of State that the president has actually approved. In fact, has approved a new interim governing body.
So it's obvious that the Minister of State for Power has gotten approval, but of course they also have to bring the weight of Abuja to bear on this story to give it the drive that they think it requires. Like, I understand your own misgiving, which has always been mine. You don't jump at the headline.
I get it, but
this is
it's a presidential thing.
We promise you guys that we're going to shed more light on this. We're going to talk about it later and espouse on this and all. But as it stands, the strike yesterday has started getting results. We heard that the entire Abuja was in blackout. Nasarawa and all the adjoining states, they were all in total
Nasarawa,
blackout.
Kogi, and Niger states.
And it was yesterday evening that power was turned back on after they had signed an MOU with the representatives of the government, telling them that the emoluments that they were fighting for and all the welfare issues that they had with the AEDC will be taken care of. And power came back on yesterday.
Well, I think my own reaction to that is we don't need to push ourselves to this point.
To the level of getting
if there's
strike.
an agreement between a set of people
and the management.
The management. I think it should be honor. Basically, what I'm saying is that when we should change the way we see agreement in this part of the world. It doesn't have to result in strike or this kind
before
of
we get results.
I agree. I totally agree. And on that note, that is all we're able to take today on the Boom Bar. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for accommodating us. What's the problem?
No, there's no problem actually. I actually just wanted to say a big thank you to
thank you very, very much.
Sadly, I don't think we were able to finish our discussion. But as we're signing out, we just want to beg you to leave us with one solution. We have to bring you back. And we need to talk about this more because we need to talk about how we are going to prefer solutions. We can't leave everything to government because why? We are a government too.
Okay. My charge to people is whatever environment you find yourself is your own. And wherever you call home, you need to make every effort to make it comfortable for yourself within the means available to you. Yes, government is charged with a lot of responsibility. Whether they are discharging those responsibility or not is a different conversation.
Ball game, yeah.
But what is also true is that if those facilities are not available, you and I are the people that are bearing the brunt of it. So I believe in synergy in whatever community you find yourself. If you can put your little resources together to give yourself some comfort, please, I will advise you do that because life is more important than anything. So I will leave us on that note, and I want to say a big thank you to Boom Radio for bringing me on this. I really appreciate it. For me, it's a time well spent, and I'm willing to come on again.
Definitely. We'll definitely invite you. You're welcome anytime, any day to join the bar. It's a bar. Anybody can come in and go out. So, and that's all. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.
Next time there'll be chicken.
We'll be back.
Why
are you going on about chicken?
Chicken suya.
Why are you going on about chicken? So we'll see you again tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time. It is Boomba on your boomradio.com.ng.
Yes, we have overrun. So management will find me, no problem.
Can we go now?
Pay. But please remember that you can catch this again at 7 p.m. West African time on boomradio.com. We're going to run it again. And you can watch the video on my Facebook page as Shola Rogers on Facebook. But especially check us out on YouTube, BoomradioNG. BoomradioNG. This video is going to be there. There's a lot of nuggets in this video. Go watch it. Go learn from it. And we're bringing back the S-Pack. We're going to talk about the gas distribution value chain and how you can benefit from it. You don't always have to be a consumer. How about making money from the business too? Because everybody's buying it now. And now cars have to use gas anyway. So we'll talk about this with the approval of management.
So, thank you. I will say goodbye.
Is it by force? Is it your bye-bye?